Are you serious?
Yeah, that's it. No, so yeah, like they have their own.
And it was a Muslim deal?
No, it's Jewish. They have their own. Chatzala has their own ambulances. And it's all self-ran. It's Jewish.
Jewish people are in everything.
Yeah. Well, Chatzala has been around for ages. Like if you live in a Jewish community, you know about Chatzala.
It's like a healthcare
they have their own. It's their own independent hospital and ambulance service for Jews.
Jewish people have everything, bro.
Yeah.
And is it exclusively for Jewish people?
Yeah, you can't call it. You wouldn't know what it is if you're not Jewish. Chatzala. Yep.
All right, guys, welcome to Sevedge Sessions episode, guys.
Wait, what are we doing? Hold on.
Oh shit.
Hit record again.
We'll keep it going. This is fun. This is fun.
No, we can't break the illusion.
No, this is fun. We were keeping it normal. It's okay. Now we have it off. We can continue.
No, but nobody.
For those that are listening right now, that was Bruce taking his beautiful shirt off
and masking. The whole point was that
we're keeping it going. It doesn't matter. We're keeping it going. This is how it is. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Nathan Charles, use your amazing editing skills.
Chutzpah. He's going to go in there, just put a straight, plain white body on you.
I actually like when he messes around with like graphics and stuff. He did that for one of our tea sipping clips, and I liked that.
He's, honestly, for someone that's 20, I think he's 20 or something like that, or 19. I'm so impressed. So I've known about him. Connor brought him up a long time ago because Connor got him to take some of his fanboy pictures. I know, me grooming young boys, bro.
He's 19. I've known about him for a while, though.
The moment he turned 18, bro, he was all mine.
If this turns into some shit, I had nothing to do with this. I am fucking 32. Bro, I don't know where Nathan finds these boys.
These boys. That's the funny part about all this.
Get your foot off the cord.
No, it's cool now.
No.
I watched it. I put
Last time you kicked out our whole fucking audio. What are we talking about today?
It's good.
Hatsala?
First off, I want to give a shout out to Micah. Thank you for letting me know the podcast is actually good. So Micah is one of our sales reps or career consultants. Listen, we say career consultants. It seems a lot better. Just saying sales reps openly.
What's wrong with saying sales reps?
I don't know. People don't like the idea of being sold in education, you know?
Oh, well, we're not fucking selling vacuums, you know?
You know what bothered me last night? Actually, first off, positive news. We got some positive news.
Ooh.
Weighed in today, 209.4.
Fuck yeah.
This is a big deal. So this is the first time I broke 210 in I think like 8 weeks.
So you've lost 3 pounds?
Yeah.
Or 4?
No, 4 pounds now.
4 pounds.
And so yesterday hit all my macros perfectly. Yeah, Kayla, you're wrong. Okay, just talking shit about me eating too much sugar. It doesn't even fucking matter. It's about being a caloric deficit. Then I came downstairs and Wes was like, "Oh, how do you feel?" Expecting me to say like, "I feel like shit." I feel perfect.
That's exactly how Wes sounds.
Yeah. How do you feel? Yeah, I feel amazing, bro. I feel amazing. I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, we went to the gym last night together.
We did a 3-part. So me, Wes, Bruce, and Kayla went to the gym. We fucking crushed it.
We rode in the back of your truck because you couldn't be bothered to take the kids.
Guys, I just want to show you. We don't have audio of y'all flying everywhere, but
no. Could we superimpose that video though?
All right, Nathan, Charles, whatever it is.
Got a nice little bicep.
Can you pull it up on OBS now?
Last night.
Yeah, I can do it.
You can do it. Oh fuck yeah.
We should just have that video play sporadically, like when we get in a more serious conversation, just like us in the back of the truck. Just
so fucking funny.
I knew you were gonna fucking speed.
So I noticed what I did. So whenever I keep it in the normal drive function, every time I would stomp on the gas, it would be slow. I was like, wait, if I switch it to manual, and oh my god, that's when it was like boom, it jumped off really quick.
I was holding on to the redneck handles while this one was flying around like a ping pong ball.
If I get that TRX and I do that to y'all.
No, we're not fucking riding in the back of the truck.
Bro, I get that TRX, y'all are dead. Like, y'all go out the tailgate, bro.
Staring at us on the street like, what the fuck is this happening? Like, this is Boulder. It's not West Texas.
I know, Boulder. Dude, it's so fun. I love just rolling around Boulder playing the loudest fucking rap music just because everybody's like, oh my God.
You and all the other 19-year-olds you like to talk to. You go on the hill.
Listen, they're good people. They take care of me.
They do. Listen, Nathan likes Meek Mill quite a bit.
And I like rap music.
You do like rap music, but it's every time I'm in the car with you, I can't have a moment of silence until the Little Durk comes on incredibly loud or the Meek Mill. We've had many business conversations set to Lil Durk, so if Lil Durk happens to come across this podcast, know that you have a true fan here at Nathan Sevedge.
For real.
What are we talking about today?
Actually, I want to kind of go into. I'm finding that our Facebook ad comments are like the best place to start every conversation.
Oh, the bad ones?
Yeah, so it's funny.
Oh yeah, apparently you guys don't like talking head style videos. Well, guess what? We're doing more of them. So fuck you.
It's the best thing.
How am I supposed to do 2 minutes worth of copy without a talking head style video?
You have to. Like, it's just it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
But this is the beautiful part. So we have so many people. This is probably one of the coolest lessons I learned about. So I talk about advertising and marketing a lot in here. We're going to start talking about it more and more. The reason why is we will be creating a marketing and advertising program.
I can't wait to be in charge of that.
You're not going to be in charge of that.
I can't wait to contribute.
Papa Sevedge will be in charge of that. He will be contributing. Kayla told me yesterday, she was like, don't ever say that about yourself.
Well, Papa Sevedge.
Yeah, Papa Sevedge.
Well, if you're going to be talking about all our young male employees, it comes across a little...
Listen, I'm going to go buy an island called Sevedge Island.
No, don't do that. Are we good, Wes? You're messing with the...
Every fucking day, there's something happening with the camera. Are we good?
We are on a really nice roll here, though. I like this energy. Let's keep this up.
Let's keep this up. Can you just stop touching the fucking camera?
Making it better.
Can you just sit down? You're going to be seen and not heard, okay? For God's sakes.
Wes is the Jamie of this show.
He really is. He's the ugly Jamie of this show.
He's
I like
ugly.
it.
He's a very handsome man.
He's handsome. He knows how to take good pictures, too.
Have you seen the girls he pulls?
For ladies out there, if you're looking for somebody that knows how to take great pictures, for some gay men might be into it, too. You did go to a gay club with Connor and have a great time.
You know what's funny? I actually sold a shirtless photo of him.
No way.
I'm not even joking.
What old man bought that?
It wasn't an old man. It was a guy in his 20s.
It was a guy in his 20s?
Wes, we took some really cool Muay Thai inspired photos of Wes. He had his wraps on and he was punching and everything. And don't stop the recording. We're keeping this in. And Wes took one for the team and got hit in the face a few times on purpose to create like a bruised look.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, I put it on Instagram, got a bunch of likes, and some guy hit me up and was like, hey, can I buy that in the frame?
How old did Wes look in that picture?
Oh, at least 20. So I told Wes, I'm like, Wes, someone wants to buy that picture. And he's like, really? You think I could sell it too? I'm like, yeah, let's get some money. These are the types of things.
So Wes and Connor are going to be open to OnlyFans before we know it.
Oh, dude, Connor, I'm surprised Connor's not already on
Jake
OnlyFans.
the Programmer on OnlyFans would be amazing.
Why don't we do that?
Jake, we've considered that, right? So I'll call Connor right now. I'll call Connor right now. Let me call Connor right now.
Call Connor on the phone. Let me ask him. Let me tell him. Please.
I literally typed in Jake on accidentally.
I'll know how to phrase this in a way that Connor will be very, very happy.
Jake the Programmer.
Hello.
Hey, I have you on speaker. We're recording right now.
Hey, Connor.
Oh, okay. What's up?
We have a marketing idea that we'd like to run by you. It's something that we're going to implement next month, okay?
Okay.
Jake the Programmer, OnlyFans.
We've been talking about this, and I think this has been needing to happen.
And
I will stand shirtless in front of computers.
It's more than shirtless, my friend. We want the full regalia.
Speedo. You're going down to a Speedo.
Classic bodybuilding poses.
Say less.
Put JavaScript behind me on the screen and let me stand in front of there.
Connor, I'm gonna need you to close your eyes, get into character, and if you have a message for the Devslopes audience right now listening, what would Jake have to say for them?
What would Jake have to say?
Yep.
Code!
Oh, that's fucking lame. I was expecting something so much cooler, like a long montage.
You have to make it sexy too. Like, what is this?
It's okay.
Somebody asked for coding motivation, and I made a video that said just code, and it got like a lot of views.
All right, we'll see you later, man.
All right, bye.
Should we do like a Devslopes mail calendar?
A Devslopes mail calendar, that'd be hilarious. Just a whole bunch of different views of Connor, Jake, and West.
That'd be fucking phenomenal.
I'm here for it.
I guess I'm chopped liver over here, right?
Your chopped liver. Hey, give me 4 months. I'm there. All right, this is what I'm working on.
Let's read some comments on our Facebook ads.
Yeah, so it's like I actually want to stick around. Maybe the theme. Should somebody go to college, learn how to code? I mean, I actually got really interested this morning. What's so funny is I know for a fact these programs out here. They're stealing our ideas. They're trying to tell people they can earn income while they're in the programs now.
Yeah.
Liars. OG that's been doing it forever.
You don't have the copyright to the nice slogan, so your shit sounds awkward.
Yep. So, I'm interested. I'm paying $15K SDSU. That's just for the semester. For software engineering and cybersecurity analytics. It's not a thing, fun fact. And you're telling me your program will be better than theirs. Let's see. How much is in your program? Let's be real. Let's make it about money, so let's get nitty and gritty. My response to them was actually pretty chill.
Who can I pause for a second? Who are you people that are typing like that on the internet to people that you've never met before?
So,
like, coming across as so confrontational and just skeptic. It's like, when you meet people, when you go to the post office and they tell you it's $5.99 for stamps, do you say that type of shit?
How dare you?
How dare you? Hey, let's see if your stamps are really worth it. Like, what the fuck? Have you noticed that about the internet in general?
It's honestly, what I've seen. It seems like, okay, there's usually like comment sections for the internet, right? Which things get pretty wild.
Yeah, they do.
You have Reddit forums, so things get wild.
I do go off on people when it comes to basketball. I'm not going to lie.
And here's where things go bad. Comment sections on ads are just so out there, bro. Yeah. They're the most wild things. Like, you will have the people that are the biggest advocates and supporters. So Zach Bay, shout out to Zach Bay. He's one of our biggest advocates in terms of like supporting the program.
Yeah.
But then, like, I remember there's a company I worked at a long time ago that they essentially helped you write a book. They helped you ghostwrite. No, sorry, they didn't ghostwrite it. They helped coach you on how to write a book about your life. And there were people coming on here saying, I learned how to make crystals solve cancer through this company. I use everything inside of it. I use this method to cure thousands of people from cancer. And it's like, if you pull up all their clients, it's like RIP.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
It's like, dude, it's so funny. But
this guy,
ironically, my response is pretty awesome. And I think it's the perfect response to anybody, right? I said, feel free to view our school online just so you can look at our curriculum. I said, let me tell you something crucial. This is not easy. It'll take 16 to 24 months to get a job. It is likely to be wildly frustrating. In addition, we do not train in cybersecurity or analytics. Our specialties in software engineering and full stack and React development. If you want to become a full stack or React developer, this is a great option for you. Yeah, but this is where I think the conversation starts, right? And even like the vision for Devslopes right now.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about this. I think it was this morning. I was kind of thinking about this in detail. You go to a university. When you were in school, I remember when I was in school, I had a PE class. I had biology.
Oh, dude.
I was getting a degree in business. I had to take biology.
You must have been such a cute little college student.
I had a PE class. I had an accounting class, which makes sense when I was going for business. And maybe like a couple other, like, why was I taking biology? Why the fuck was I taking biology?
That's something really important we can talk about, and I can go off on this.
I want to go into transition. This is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this, and hopefully a handful of our students will watch this so I can get some ideas for them. I love the idea of, okay, long-term goal, something I would like to do in like the next 2 to 3 years, is to be able to start some after-school programs for students between the ages of 15 to 18.
That'd be sick.
The problem is I might not be able to do 15. Shame on you, Wes, for what you were thinking right there. Shame on you. I am not grooming young men. Shame on you.
I'm not touching that one with a No.
So I look at his face, and he's just
Wes is like, I've heard this one before. Well, let's in all seriousness, you want to start some kind of thing where
So I think about it this way. If we could build something where we were able to Devslopes funds the kids. I'm thinking about if we were to fund the kids, or obviously someone's got to fund the kids.
Someone's got to.
We would fund them from like 17 to 18 potentially. The problem is if you do 15, I don't know if they'll be able to. I think it might be too young, to be able to actually like take advantage. I look at the camera in case you just listen to this. I promise you. I promise you.
Might be too young to take advantage, David. This is going to be hands down our best episode.
Guys, I just want to help people.
He does just want to help people. So
All right, let's see.
no. I'm gonna stay.
Wait. 1 second.
We have a lot
man.
of really important things that we could talk about. When it
I
comes
know.
To college.
I just need validation that I'm not grooming children. Hey, can you just confirm I'm not grooming children? We're talking about how I'm wanting to help high school kids learn how to code, and this is going down a really shady route of me.
What the fuck is my life come to? What am I doing for a living?
Put it this way.
Don't edit any of this.
Is
It's running, right?
I was taken when I was 14.
Connor. If this is read in a transcript in some kind of lawsuit, this is not going to read well. Can you please, whatever you say, prepare for somebody to read it in a courtroom saying, I was taken at the age of 14. Can you please just give context, okay?
Okay. No, we are not grooming children.
That's all I need to hear. Have a good day. Bye. All right. So Connor's been working with me since he was 15.
So tell me about these after-school programs you want to establish.
So ideal world, right? So I grew up in West Texas, Klondike, graduating class like 13 kids. Here, and this is what I want to imagine, right? So one of the worst parts is we get people to graduate high school, they go off in the world, and that's where things go downhill really heavily. So
yeah, that's true.
Okay,
that's
so we
true.
talked about this. We go to school, high school, we're forced to attend classes. So, I mean, there's a really high adherence rate, at least, for high school. College goes downhill, and we start getting influenced really heavily by a lot of people who, you know, they're not going for where we want to go in life. So I want to create something for those that really want to have a better life. So probably between the ages of 16 and 18, most likely, they'll be able to join this program.
Yeah.
And then if they pass specific requirements, we will be able to vet them with employers. So the big point is we could take these kids. We found the way to make the business and improvement actually align. So it's really interesting. It's like a form of like business philanthropy in a sense. Like if we were able to fund the students, and this is where, so it's really funny. We've had a lot of students ask for refunds in the program, right? So for a long time, we had a zero refund policy. And it's like, guys, you know, we operate the same way universities do. I can't take the knowledge out of your head, right? Like, it's my goal to really do everything I can to support you guys. So, guys, there's no refunds. You've been in this for 6 months. Man, there's one student in particular. This is actually, I feel like, a really good transition period. Actually, before I go into this, let's finalize this. The goal is for the moment they hit that 18 mark, we have the ability, after they graduate from school, place them in a really high-quality job.
That'd be nice.
Dude, think about the way that changes the world. Like, legitimately, that changes the entire world. And then if I'm able to take that, we could translate it really appropriately, and we could start some schools potentially in India or lots of these other countries that actually need that support.
Yeah.
You're trying so hard not to laugh. I'm proud of you.
It was funny. I'm sorry.
So if we're able to go into different countries,
Yeah.
provide them with everything they need, and show them how we could support those individuals and American companies, there's some really special stuff that could start happening, right? Like some really special stuff. Because, you know, for you to be able, like, if they're making $30,000 in US dollars per year, and we're training them, we're making sure their English is A1, right? We have English classes, we have communication classes, we have classes specifically on coding, a lot on decision making and critical thinking skills, right? So if we could teach them how to approach problems in very unique ways, we could produce some really high-class coders as well as marketers, right? So we have this ongoing joke. This is going to seem somewhat terrible, but we have these individuals in India who do all of our thumbnails. They do amazing work.
They do.
And it's extremely cheap, right? So we overpay them, of course. And so the goal is like, okay, man, if we can connect these people in bulk, oh my God, right? And we can get them paid more, and we could get rid of that communication gap. Dude, the world opens up. And let's be upfront. English is the easiest language to learn, right? Out of all the languages, 100%. So when I speak to everybody that knows other languages, like if you have to, what do people from India speak? Is it Hindu?
It can be a multitude of things.
Is Hindu a language or is that a language? Hindu is a language.
Urdu. I think they speak Urdu.
I'd be willing to bet they'd be able to pick up Well, I
Farsi.
guess it's because like dialect
Farsi.
and the way they speak is a lot just.
Well, you're also
different, right?
talking about like billions of people, multiple different cultures. It's not just like one universal language. I mean, I don't know a lot about India.
So this is part of like my grand scheme for taking over the world.
Just
By
about to say that this kind of sounds like world domination.
100%, right? So like,
yeah.
I think I had a really long conversation. You guys were there last night when I was having a really long conversation with an executive at in the company, and I was kind of walking this person through how my mind works, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about the other day, like this process of reiteration, right? If we could get the principles in place, the knowledge, the tactics to implement that knowledge in practice, and then reiterate, like on a continual basis, and that never ends. You know, I've had so many mentors tell me, you know, Nathan, you're going to get offered like the $50 million check, $100 million check. You're going to sell the company and move on. And I've told them consistently, I'm like, no, right? That it won't be fun. What the fuck am I going to do with my life? Like being able to do this, like every time we have a student that says, got a job, got my first freelance project, I get so fucking excited.
Yeah.
And so that process, ironically, the framework for that is the framework for success, I believe, right? Just it's literally that's all it is, right? And so we're going to transition now, what we were talking about just a second ago with that student. So we had this student that, man, I coached him closely for like about 8 months. He made great progress. And he left a negative review on us. It was
Really?
It was actually really sad, you know?
Did he get pretty far? How far did he get? Or was
I think he got about 40% through the program.
40%.
Incredibly smart guy, works in construction, has really everything. The problem was, I think he has 1 or 2 kids. And that's why he came to the program. He's like, man, I needed something I can adjust to my schedule. And the bummer is, he was talking about these different programs. Like one is called the Odin Project. He's like, go there. It's free. It's much better. All of these things. And even in his review, he was like, yeah, the program's all right, but you know, it just wasn't worth the money. All of these factors, and it's really disappointing. And what I mean by disappointing is, he was smart, right? And he lived in Salt Lake City, so like he had a great area. Salt Lake City's popping for tech. Like there's so many opportunities. It's kind of like Denver.
I've heard
like,
it's beautiful out there too.
Well, a lot of the people that like to code, like we're getting these new type of developers that are similar to Tyson, who love to be out in nature. Bob is a great example. So Bob from the gym, Neanderthal Bob, fucking yoked out of his mind.
The one that does all the wood cutting and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, he's one of my best training partners too.
Yeah, I love training with Bob. Hi, Bob.
So he loves to be outdoors. He's doing woodworking stuff all the time. And then there's this different side where his job is using code, right? He's a software engineer. Then he loves doing all this other stuff. And this morning I was speaking with the sales team. And I was like, guys, when you are looking at people who want to come in, right, you want to find the people who are teachers, engineers, mechanics. Mechanics, man, are some of the best fucking software engineers.
You're building. It's just in a different kind of.
It's this idea of, do you like taking things apart and putting them back together?
Right.
So it's funny. Even though I never learned how to code myself, like technically, right? Like I learned how to build websites with HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. All of my stuff was mostly doing data analysis, right? So working really heavily in Sheets and Excel. I told you, it was so cool. And Peter, for the first time, was like, Nathan, you're essentially a coder. Like with what you do, and it's funny because that gave me the ability to understand all the principles, linking files together, the importance of being able to write more complex and clean equations that could run stuff much faster, especially when you're dealing with large sums of data. So that guy, great student, but man, he's 6-8 months in the program. He was showing up to coaching calls with me, and then one day he just went AWOL, just was gone, right? Then he came back, and he was so nasty to me.
Really?
He was demanding a refund, demanding that we couldn't do X, Y, Z. And I just sat there. I was like, dude, what's going on here? Like, how can I help you? I want to help you.
Right.
And you typically find this with people who are kind of in pain, right? People that are in pain lash out. My therapist gave me the perfect example. And he was the first. So for everybody listening, I'm naturally more conservative, like naturally in like political beliefs, to everything along those lines. I'm definitely actually willing to say it. I know that everybody says, oh, you know, I lean left, and like they're usually conservative. Like if anybody ever says, yeah, I lean left, they're definitely conservative. And so I wanted to make sure to get a therapist who was like left leaning, right? And so my therapist, amazing, and he's sitting there and he's talking to me, and he was like, man, you know, the people that you're dealing with are from extremely low resourced, high stressed communities, right? Like they're stretched very thin. Like if you got 2 kids and one person works, right? And even if you make $70,000 a year, you're going to be really stretched thin.
That's not a lot with kids.
Like quite frankly, even if you're making $100,000, you're still going to be really stretched thin. And most of the time, guys, if you hear that and you think it's crazy, that's okay, right? So you have to factor in what the changes that take place once someone makes $100,000, even $70,000. We make those immediate life improvement jumps. So if you're making $30,000 and you get a job paying $60,000, you're automatically going to go out and buy the new car or get the new lease or whatever it is. So that's what I say when someone's making $100,000, they're barely making it. It's not that they're just going above and beyond, right? And they're gluttonous. A lot of the times, man, they just want to have a better environment for their kids. Like, man, that's really what it is. Hey, I want to have a nicer house. I don't want my kids to have to be raised the same way I did.
Yeah. I
could respect the fuck out of that. That's why I try to preach. That's actually the entire point of freelancing the program, so that they have the ability to go out and get extra work when they need to, right? So Christmas is coming up. I'm a little low on bills, right? I'm going to go out and freelance get some extra cash in the door. Then we're good to go. But yeah, so my therapist told me this. He was like, man, the students that you're working with, he's like, a great example to think about what they're like. He said, if you walk around a corner and you see a dog, and that dog is frothing at the mouth, and it looks like it's barking at you and trying to snap at you, most people would say, fuck that. They just run away, right? They just try to leave immediately.
It's an appropriate response.
Yeah, you're like, this person's going to attack me. And he said, to be fair, a lot of times if you try to help, it's going to bite you. He said most of the times when you look around and you see a dog like that, you need to understand why the dog is doing that. And he said when you look at the dog in that circumstance, typically their leg is going to be in a snare or they're in pain. A leg is broken, something has happened. And think about it. Like, think about all the times that we've been gravely hurt, right? Like physically even.
Yeah.
Like if you hit your head or something, like you stub your toe, you're going to be abnormally angry for a moment. Like if someone says, hey, Bruce, would you, like, you actually hurt my feelings the other day. Would you be willing to talk about it? You'd be like, dude, fuck off. I don't want to talk right now. I'm in pain.
Depends what age you asked me.
Yeah. So he's like, those are the students you're dealing with. So they're going to be more likely to lash out at you, be upset. And I think this is one of the coolest things. We have a program where people have the ability to actually come in and have those conversations with us. And I am so proud of Sean, for example. She has been able to have so many amazing conversations with students. So we have a student in our program right now who didn't get a job that he applied for, and he was so upset. She's like, hey, understand.
Yeah.
Completely reasonable. In fact, I had to do this yesterday just because I think that the leadership is set top down. The relationship I had with the sales team for a long time was, and this gives you a little bit in the idea of like what a developer or a software engineer's mindset is. This is how my mindset is. Like when you're built on the idea of efficiency, I don't, like when things are going well, I don't really point out things that are going really well. I think of, okay, what can we improve? Just like in jiu-jitsu, like, cool, I'm beating people. Okay, what do I need to improve on so that I can continue growing? And for a long time, the sales team, all they heard from me is me complaining. Not necessarily, like they viewed it as complaining. I viewed it as we need to improve X, Y, Z. This is what we can do to get things better. And I had a conversation with them yesterday. I was like, you know what, guys? I realized there's an issue. I talked about this with Ethan on the podcast last week. Guys, every time we communicated, it was me pointing out things that were wrong, right? I was like, I wanted to take a moment to say I apologize for that. I know that it kind of sucks when you have, the CEO just pointing out everything you're doing wrong and never recognizing things you do right, because you'll have a highly emotional job. It's really frustrating when you're trying to help people and they're just not ready, or they don't want to make that commitment. It's okay. Like, honestly, it's okay. Like, I could see how that could be really frustrating. And it's cool. Like that goes through the entire organization. Like our mentors are so reasonable. Like they just want to help people out. Like versus whenever I look at a lot of professors, like I was imagining this morning when you go to school, you got one professor. There's maybe 40 to 70 kids in that class, sometimes much more in that one class.
Yeah.
That professor is going to teach 8 classes that week, 10 classes, maybe more that week. You don't get time with him. You could try to email him, right? What are you going to go to you can go to his class hours, but realistically, 1 to 5% of that class is going to go to class hours. Did you ever teach in college, any?
Did I teach in college? No.
I mean, professors in college, nobody goes to their office hours, right?
Oh, man, that was wild. I had an experience in grad school where it was my special education teacher, and I remember I wanted to talk to her for like a couple minutes after. I will never forget this, bro. I wanted to talk to her for a couple minutes after class because I had recently come to the realization. The way I am is like I get a feeling about something and then I sit on it for a little bit because I know that I'm very impulsive with my feelings. So I like to sit on it for a little bit and kind of like develop it before I act.
For sure.
And I remember getting that feeling around that time that, man, I'm not meant to be a teacher. Like, this is just not for me. But at that point, we're talking about 2 years into a master's. So thousands of dollars, got all this debt and everything else. So I wanted to talk to her a little bit and say, hey, you know, I've just recently gotten to the classroom. Like, what do you do if you realize you don't have the passion for this? And you'd think at the grad level especially that, you know, someone would be there and kind of willing to help you with that. And I'll never forget this. She was running late for a date. Could not be any less interested in answering my question. So I kind of just like blurted it out as she was like leaving or whatever. And she told me like, oh, well, we can talk about this in 2 weeks when I'm back from. I'm like, no. This is now. Okay, I am one of your fucking students and I don't have the passion for what it is you're teaching us. Like, I need to know, like, what do you can't offer me anything, you know? And she just ran, you know, got on the train and whatever. And I've been failed by a lot of teachers, honestly. So I kind of like appreciate the way that we give people this sort of like individualized attention because it doesn't work that way.
I want to push back a little bit.
Yeah.
You said passion. I have a second deal. Were you just completely uninterested?
Well, here's the thing. This is a great fucking story because like sometimes I feel so distant from that like part of my life that it almost comes like, wow, I actually did do that. Like I was, you know, at one point was considering a PhD track, which is fucking absurd. Like,
wild.
You know, wild. Especially for someone that graduated high school with a failing average, 5-year senior, whole 9 yards, you know, all that stuff. But I remember when you start teaching, basically what they do in grad school is you do a certain amount of courses. For me, it was English and education. So I did the English part of my master's and fucking blitzed through that, no problem. Then I had to start doing the education stuff, and that's when you actually start going to the schools. They placed me in Long Island City High School, which was in Queens. And I get there, and we're all sitting. And everyone there, I'm not saying this is an insult, they look like teachers. You know, they look like the type of person where, you know, throw 10 years on that lady or that guy and they look like a teacher. You know, they got the fucking tucked in shirt, whatever. I'm sitting there with Doc Martens, sleeve tattoos, a black hoodie. I'm like hungover and smoking weed all night. You know, I was like, this is a different vibe. So this teacher comes in like fucking Patton making a war speech. You know, comes, all right, everybody. I want you to know something. This job ain't easy. This job will eat you. It'll tear you apart. It'll rip apart your social life. She just starts saying all these things, all these negatives of teaching. And then she says at the end, but if you still want to do it, you might be able to change a kid's life. And I'm looking at everybody in the room like, am I the only one fucking hearing what she's saying? Because this doesn't sound good. This doesn't sound good whatsoever. And it sat with me, and I'm like, yeah, this is a terrible job. You don't make a lot of money. You carry your work home with you every single night.
Every night.
You're here from 7:30 to 5 sometimes. Because when you're a new teacher, they guilt trip you into signing all these things of like, oh, I'll stay late and be a dean for 2 hours a day for an extra $5K. Or, oh, I'll get placed in the worst school in New York, Brownsville, Brooklyn, or some shit like that for an extra $10K. So you end up like signing over your life in a lot of ways. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, fuck. This ain't for me.
And they're not going to. I mean, how much would they make even if they did those things?
So,
like 60,000.
Starting salary,
isn't it 30?
Would have no, it's not 30. It's higher. But starting salary would have been about 50 to 60. You got to account for the fact that's New York. New York, you're making that wage in New York.
Wes, do you have coffee right here too?
And then the incentives, you know, you could get that up, but then it's like, are you okay commuting to one of the most dangerous parts of the city every single day? Are you okay with staying late and giving up your life? And it's absurd.
You know what's wild? I will never forget this. So I interned at a high school, Wilson ISD, and it was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had. Right? I was interning as like an assistant coach there, and I had a really good time. And I remember the coach telling me how much they made at the time. Yeah. Take a guess. He taught classes too. He was a coach and taught classes.
I would say for Texas, probably like 30 or 40. No?
$28,000.
Holy shit.
I sat there. I was like, dude, that's fucking insane. Like, I get that, like, you may, like, you're a coach. You're not going to teach every class period, right? Like, but that's insane. Like, $28,000 is, I'm pretty confident, like, you could work at a Chipotle and make more money. Like, no, like, seriously. You can go work at a Chipotle full time and make more money. And it was funny because he was still such a great guy, and the people there were great people, and, you know, they loved what they did, but it didn't align. Yeah. Right. And that's where, you know, it's really cool because even all of our mentors, like Jonathan, dude, John doesn't have to take calls on weekends, right? Or he has one call, I believe, on Saturdays. And his job schedule is specifically Tuesday through Saturday to help students out. But dude, on Sundays and Mondays, he still makes himself available to help those students out, like, all the time. Andre, dude, wakes up, helps students, goes to sleep. So yeah, Andre works his ass off.
Yes, he does.
And dude, I can respect that so much, and so because you have some people who are so fucking passionate, and that's the beautiful part. Like, this is where software engineering has this really interesting role, and I think marketing as well, and sales can. Like, this is why I lucked out, man. Like, these three things are something that I'm so interested in. I happened to start creating websites in high school, and I started selling shit when I started selling personal training services right out of high school. I made like $400 a month, guys. It wasn't a lot of money.
Yeah, but you started.
But then I was able to learn about marketing. Then I started my own personal training business. So did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Okay. So that's where I met Ethan at this place called Bodyworks. It's now called TrueFit. So I get out of college. Ex-wife at the time was living in. We were both going to the same school, and she was like, "Can't live. I have to go back to Lubbock." I was like, "Fuck it. I don't want to go for another semester. I'll just move back there." By the way, this is not one of those stories where it's like college wasn't for me. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. This is not that story by any means, right? So, moved to Lubbock. Didn't have a job whatsoever. And my parents at the time, so I had this truck that took so much money and gas to fill up. My parents were like, listen, you can either do two things. If you get a car, we'll co-sign on it, but we're not paying the bills. Or if you get an apartment, we'll co-sign on it. But you can't have both. So if we co-sign on a car, good luck finding somewhere to live. And I was like, I guess help me get this apartment. Like, just co-sign on it, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get somewhere. And the kid that I stayed with, he paid for like the first 2 months rent because fucking loaded, and he just needed to get out of that lease to go be somewhere else. So I go there. The rent's like $400 a month, right?
Oh shit!
And I got a job at an Olive Garden doing dishes. That lasted for approximately like 3 weeks, and it was atrocious.
And you're how old at this point?
18.
Okay.
18. So I end up applying for this is like in January. I went to school for one semester. And in January, I saw like a job opening for a personal training deal. Went in there. Aced it. Was able to get the job. Sorry, today I'm yawning. Got the job, and I got this one client. His name is Walker. Coolest kid in the world, right? So I worked with him for a really long time. All the clients I got were much older than me, typically in their 50s to 60s. Ironically, I think this is where all my coaching skills came from, like the real coaching skills. And eventually, Walker and his parents, they moved there. So they had a very large oil company, like a massive oil company. They were spending like $700 a month on personal training, right, for his son. So they were moving houses, and they had to sell all their gym equipment. They're like, and I made a deal with them. I was like, guys, I'll train your son for free if you give me all the gym equipment. Done and done. And he said, cool, let's do that then. That works for me. So we make this deal. I get all this personal training equipment. I rent a place out for like $400 a month. It was a shed. Like, so it was at it was affordable storage is what it was called. And it was like a lot of people would park their RVs and boats inside these places, or they would use it as like a shop for cars, things along those lines. It was like 1,500 square feet, I think. And oh my God, bro, it was so hot in there. Like, you would just open up the fan doors and just start sweating immediately. So I did that, and I went to Facebook to find clients. This is really where I started learning about freelancing and finding people. So I would go to Facebook groups. I would create Facebook groups. I would do everything I could in the world to find people. And I'll tell you, one of the most interesting stories I learned about marketing, I was trying to find some clients at the time. And we were talking before the podcast started about Tariq, or the Muslim community as a whole, and how like they support each other. Jewish community, they support each other. This is where I learned about kind of how the Muslim community works, especially in West Texas, where there's a very small Muslim community that's very closely connected, because this guy was from either Pakistan, somewhere along those lines. So I go out and I post hundreds of flyers, like cars in the mall. Yeah, grassroots guerrilla marketing.
I've done the same shit.
You know what the worst part is? I did not know this. We put some in people's mailboxes. Do not ever put shit in people's mailboxes. I got a call from a woman saying, "Is this Sevedge?" I think it was like structured strength, I think is what it was called. I was like, yes, who is this? She's like, you put mail in my mailbox. I'm reporting you immediately to the police for XYZ. Like, this was like real shit you can get in trouble for.
Let me tell you something, bro. I had a very brief period of handing out physical flyers for my gallery. I would never do that shit again. I have never seen people become so belligerent over the idea of, hey, I'm trying to do something. Would you look at this?
Dude, they got so angry.
Yeah.
But I got so many calls like that because, again, we were opening people's mailboxes, putting shit in. It's illegal. You can't do that. I did not know that at the time. So the woman calls me from the UPS office or USPS, something like that, maybe even the police office. I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I did not know. And they're like, okay, cool, just don't do it anymore. And I was like, thank God,
should
bro.
just double down.
Yeah,
put more in there.
I'm gonna put 5 more in now,
like a whole stack.
And then so here's the funny part. I'm running this business, and every month I typically make between $1,200 to $2,000 a month, right? And 2,000 was the best month I ever had, and all I hoped for every month was break $2,000. That's all I wanted to do, and it was so hard. So, and by the way, the way I built this, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I'm so bitter to this day, is I would reach out to every friend on Facebook. Hey, are you interested in getting in better shape? Hey, are you interested in XYZ? To everybody I could possibly reach out to. And so now they're all wanting to start the little side hustles. And now I'm looking at them like, hey, fuck you. Like, so there's a part of me that's like that's never going to forget how many people absolutely ghosted me or wildly disrespectful. Enjoy your personal training thing.
Yeah, I remember those comments.
Dude, I never forget them. I see them all the time. Like, the amount of them who are now starting up stuff and they need marketing help but completely ignored me, or even worse, came and worked out for a month and they just never paid. Yeah, you're dead to me. I'm never going to help you again. Like it happens so often. So fast forward to now, the marketing list, handed out all of these flyers. A year passes, right? So it was really common for me to get texts from like overseas scam numbers that are like, hey, I have 2 kids I want to put in personal training, and they would text like kind of odd, like this is obviously someone from overseas sending me these odd texts, right?
And that's something that people should look out for. But
so I would get these texts, I'm like, yeah, and they're like, okay, I'll have the driver drop them off at 4 p.m. on XYZ. What's your routing and bank number so I can send you stuff? Like, they would send stuff like that, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And
clever.
Yeah, clever. And I was like, okay, this is nonsense. So one day I'm at the house and I get this weird text from this number. Hey, is this Structured Strength or whatever it was called at the time? I was like, yes. And like the spelling was kind of odd, and I was like, he wanted to call me, and I was like, dude, just text me. I don't want to speak to you right now. I'm with family. I don't do this. Long story short, speak to the guy, and he was like, all right, I'll come in Monday at XYZ time. I said, all right, cool. We'll see what happens. Lo and behold, one of my favorite clients of all time, this amazing guy named Tariq. And first guy I ever met that, like, for example, whenever it was time for prayer times, like, he would actually get down on his knees, he would do the prayers, then he would continue the rest of the workout. Wildly respectful dude, one of the best clients I ever had, worked his absolute ass off. I learned so much from him from that time period. And that's where I kind of got this idea. So he told me about, like, the Muslim community and how the Muslim community in Lubbock at that time They all supported each other. So he had this massive construction company. They built hospitals. They built like everything, bro. Like extremely expensive places. And I was like, man, how does this work? Like white people don't do that shit. Like normal white people, we don't, like, for example, he said like generations would live together, right? The grandparents would always help raise the kids, all of these things. This is one of the reasons why I want to move my parents in the house with me and to get back to that root. Because he said, everybody watched out for each other's kids. Everybody took care of each other. When you needed money, you would go to the group before you would go to the white banks and stuff like that. And it was so interesting hearing him talk about it. And then I read a book later on called The Jewish Phenomenon. And that was the book that literally said, they're like, listen, when you get done with school, you go to the after school programs, you go study, right? Sports are secondhand thoughts. If you were interested in sports, cool. You were going after you finished studying. Yeah. And maybe that mostly speaks to people in actual Jewish schools.
Our schedule was insane.
At the Jewish school?
Yeah. It's like 7:30 to 5:30.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And so they were talking about, and they're like, do you think that there aren't athletes in the world that are Jewish that can't be sports or actual good athletes? They're like, it's not about that, right? The reason why they produce so many lawyers, doctors, what else are there? Scientists, mathematicians.
Well, we run the Hollywood, obviously. So
that's interesting. So it's really odd that Jewish people run Hollywood. I don't really understand that.
Look,
to be honest,
the whole thing, and I'm gonna break this down for people that might be in the dark about this. You have a culture that was nearly erased.
Yep.
Like you have a people that was nearly erased. So a lot of the tendencies that Jewish people have come from this kind of, well, we ain't letting that shit happen again
100%.
mentality. And when that's the case, also, I mean, my grandparents, Italian Jewish immigrants, came here after being in the camps and everything. You don't. They were a little bit different, but the majority of Jewish families that immigrated to this country, we didn't come here to fucking like live in squalor, Yeah. So there was a lot of like hard-working. You see that a lot from a lot of immigrants that came over during like the 100%. Ellis Island.
Even
period.
now, like
like the Ellis Island period of New York and everything. Like we started our own communities, and in those communities developed our own businesses and whatever. And historically, that's actually the reason why Jewish people were so hated, because they took the jobs that were deemed either
American
immoral.
or
No. Like I'm talking back at like ancient Rome and all that shit. Like took the jobs that were deemed immoral or lesser than, which happened to be the jobs that handled money.
Really?
This is the truth.
Like tax collecting and shit
tax
like that.
collecting, banking, that these things were all considered low class.
I see.
So the Jewish people historically took these jobs and then ended up becoming very powerful as a result of it.
Makes
but
sense.
it's like, hey, you didn't let us do anything else. So,
So it's really interesting. So specifically in that book, what they talked about was the importance of community. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. Because I'm trying to be like, man, how can we continue to cultivate a strong community? Like, dude, my executives are so tired of me talking about culture within the company. Like, I call it micromanaging in a sense, but what I've been doing is joining like almost all of the group calls that we have in the company, and looking for people that are violating culture, right? Like, guys, and it's funny because we talked about this a handful of episodes ago, and people who think that they're just going to work a 9 to 5. And, they're going to share that. Like, if you have a job and you're solely there to get paid, you're going to be sniffed out, right? Especially at Devslopes. I'm not going to allow people to be here with just a 9 to 5. They're not fully bought into our mission and what we're trying to do. This is about people enjoying the work they do, taking pride in it, seeing the impact they can have. So I'm sitting there, and it's like, man, how can, I'm hearing about this culture, and they're like, yeah, we only have a handful of professional athletes from Jewish areas. And they're like, because we force them to go down these other routes, right? Like they force the kids to become successful in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like it's really funny because a lot of people might say, well, you need to go do what you're passionate about. And it's like, man, I get it. But at the same time, you want your generations to like, it's very easy once you get 2-3 generations. How many generations are you away from your grandparents that were in the camps? Is it just 2 or 3?
Just my mother.
So you're second generation?
Second generation American.
And you're 2 generations away from your grandparents who were in the camps.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you'd phrase it, but my mother was born to immigrant parents.
And
so,
how long were her parents in the actual camps? Were they in Auschwitz? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they were in Auschwitz. I don't know for how long. We didn't exactly get like timestamp cards or anything, but they were in there. And then, you know, as you know, the war ended. A lot of Jews that were in that situation that made it ended up migrating to Israel, which is what happened with them.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
how far is Israel from Germany?
I mean, we're talking about, you know, fucking Central Europe versus Middle East.
So pretty far.
Pretty far. I mean, yeah, but it was like, you know, FDR gives it to us in 45, and we're not going to get into a whole fucking shtick about Israel here. But my grandparents were there and had, you know, about 12 years or so to themselves before they had my mother. And then my mother was raised.
They went to Israel for 12 years.
Yeah. My mother was born in 57. So
Jesus.
Then in 57, after they had her, they decided to come to New York, Brooklyn. And then my mother spent her childhood going back and forth.
So this is the interesting part. Like, it's like we're in the time where people tell you go do something you're passionate about. There's a reason why I pushed on you earlier about that. I think passion's kind of nonsense, right? Passion is fleeting. I think what matters most is, are you curious about it? You don't necessarily have to be passionate about it.
Right.
Are you curious about that thing?
I wasn't curious about shit when it came to teaching.
Yeah. And so this is where
my curiosity was fulfilled.
So like for example, if I think it's something I'm passionate about, like the closest thing is jiu-jitsu. Like,
I'd
passionate,
say so.
wildly curious, obsessed with it. When it comes to the business, everything along those lines, it's something I'm obsessed with and like wildly curious about.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of immigrant cultures have, that like you kind of, I don't want to say you miss out in American culture because that's generalizing, but there's this mindset of like, hey, like for when I was a kid, the fucking like thing that was put into my head is like, you're gonna be a lawyer. Good. You're going to be a lawyer, and you're going to get us out of this fucking mess that your mother and I have got with the poverty and everything. Like, you're going to get us out of this. So that's your fucking, which is a huge shadow to cast on a child. But it's kind of like the idea that, you know, you're not going to use your life. And this is why so many people look at artistic careers as like, oh, what the fuck? Because it's like, the goal is to get into some kind of vocation, job, whatever, that ends up improving the status of the family.
Yep.
You know, you see this a lot in Asian families as well, doctors or whatever. It's like, if you're not bringing us up, like, what the fuck are you doing? It's almost like you're wasting your time.
I feel like that idea, though, I lean more towards that. Right?
I do too. I do too.
I'm not on board with these. So, for example, I think there's so much to learn. So all of my friends that are from back home in West Texas, you know, the Mexican culture is like, we're going to fucking grind, right? The downside is they don't have jobs that are going to support them once their bodies start breaking down. Right. But like, they work 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week, legitimate 90-hour weeks. And it's like, man, the mentality they had is a lot of them were first generation, second generation Americans. My best friend, Johnny, is a first generation American. And bro, he is so smart, right? He naturally had to figure everything out. So he's Mennonite. And they didn't have a lot of money when they were younger, so they had to figure everything out. Dustin, who works with us, he had to figure everything out by hand. Dustin, I know without a doubt.
Strong man, Dustin.
Bro, if I go to Dustin, I'm like, Dustin, I need you to complete XYZ. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. That's why I hired him. I literally knew when I hired Dustin, he's going to know nothing about what we're doing right now, and I don't really care, right? Because I could tell him to go do something, and he'll figure it out, right? And now he's reached a point where he's developed the skill level to where we can now get more in depth on what we're doing. Like, he's been with the company now for over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And he'll make more than anybody in his family's history, right? Crushing because of that. Like, I'm going to take care of him. So he's not Russian.
No, I said he's crushing it.
Yeah, he's crushing it. Yeah. And so it's funny, that immigrant mentality of, like, I think it's along the survivor mentality in a sense. Like, guys, I'm not here to have fun.
Well, literally in my case.
Yeah, like, I'm not here to have fun. I am here to, like, I can have fun, right? In my free time after I've gotten all this shit done. Like, it's like that it's like the be a man mentality. I think there's a lot of historical proof that for a lot of people who are trying to change their generational like circumstances, like if you have a generational curse, and what I mean by that is no one in your family has really had success. Everybody's always lived at or below the poverty line or has just been able to make it by, and you want to change shit.
Right.
You have to be delusional. You have to be ruthless. You have to be a warrior. You have to be obsessed, right? Obsessed is the big part. I watched a great video from my mentor, Pat, yesterday. He said, if I had to redo all of this over again, what I want to do is I want to find a killer. I want to find somebody obsessed with what they're doing, whether that's coding, schooling, literally anything. They're obsessed with it. And then I would get behind them and focus on what they're doing. Like, I've become obsessed with this process of skill acquisition, right? And changing the way education works. I'm obsessed with it. And that's what we have to do when we want to make those generational changes. Like, even though it sucks and people, this is what kind of bothers me. Americans, I feel like, got in the way of this. They'll look at Asian culture and they'll look at, whether it's Jewish culture, Muslim culture, whatever it is, and they're like, ugh, they're not actually living. They're doing X, Y, Z. And it's like, they have their unique problems, right? The unique problems are they push a lot of really hard boundaries on the kids. They might make life kind of miserable.
Yeah, my standards were insane. Like, the level of shit that was expected of me was nuts.
I think I'd rather have that on my kids than the opposite.
Right. You know what I think it is, too? It's like, one of the things about New York that I always found interesting growing up in New York City, because there's so much to do and so many options, there's almost nothing to do in a weird way. And I've noticed that, like, I actually, I just realized the other day, it's been 10 years since I got my bachelor's. And even 10 years ago, there was no such thing as, like, I'm going to be a social media marketer, I'm going to do all this stuff. Everything was still kind of like it was a gatekeeping around the idea that you had to go to college in order to, even 10 years ago, it was still very much like you have to go to college.
Even 5 years ago.
Yeah. Now, all the knowledge is knowledge, right? All the knowledge and all the skills and all that stuff are so widely accessible, but nobody has the drive anymore to go out and get it. And that's one of the things that, earlier we brought up this whole idea of, like, do you need a comp sci degree to get into coding? There is this fucking myth, and it used to piss me off so much when I was on our TikTok and we would do, like, kind of informational videos about, like, do you need a comp sci degree? And you people would flood the fucking comments saying, that's bullshit, you have to go to college, you have to get a 4-year degree, you're never going to get hired by anyone. Listen to me right now. We live right by a major Google location. I'm not going to say which one, but we live next to one of Google's headquarters. Yep. I have spoken to dozens of these fucks because they all do jujitsu. They want to be tough guys. Yeah, I work at Google, but I'm a tough motherfucker. They all come down to the gym. Guess how many of them have degrees in computer science? Fucking zero. That's because what they did was they went out and they acquired the skill free of college, free of the 4-year gatekeeping, and then they just went and did it. But because the path is not forced anymore, because it's so widely available, because I feel like there's a lot of people that it's almost that New York effect, because there's so many ways to do stuff, they just don't do it. And then they get a job that's a means to an end kind of thing, and they're just okay and they're content with it. When in reality, there's so many free resources and so many resources like us that you can use to improve yourselves, but nobody wants to reach out and grab it because that pressure isn't there. When I was a kid, it was like, listen, we literally cannot order a pizza that isn't fucking within 2 seconds swarmed by roaches. We have cracks on our walls. The fucking place smells like God knows what. You need to fucking be the one to get us out of here. So it's almost like I was looked at as like the Christ of our family. I'm going to rise up above. It's not like that anymore.
So anytime you play hell, I play heaven, and we have to go opposite routes, right? So the reason why I do that is from a book called Motivational Interviewing that we use with students. And I found that this helps so much in all my relationships too. So first off, anybody who's making a change, when we have people on our ears telling us, you just need to go get it, you know what you're doing wrong. Same way for actually lifting weights or just getting in shape, right? Bruce came with us yesterday for the first time to go lift weights, right? And every time we asked, honestly, it was pretty chill. Like, we might make jokes, but we were like, hey, you want to come lift weights with us? No big deal. Cool, whatever. It's almost always been like that.
With this tremendous physique.
I don't really
need to do much,
So most people, the way that it works is they typically have people that, dude, you need to just go to the gym. You need to stop eating so much. You need to go to the gym, dude. You're just letting yourself go. If all you hear is that, same thing for addicts. You need to stop smoking. You need to stop smoking weed. It's messing you up. When you always have people on this right shoulder, you will naturally lean towards the other shoulder. And think about why you should. right? Well, it's hard to quit. I'll just do a couple more, maybe in a couple weeks. So where I hear you on the one end, I say, dude, you just have to reach out and go grab it, right? You have to pull yourself out.
Well, I think that drive is missing.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Where you say it's missing, I'm going to go out and say to an extent it isn't, right? So I'm always going to play the opposite whenever we have these conversations. When I look at this drive, I look at a couple things. I think it's really important that we recognize self-sabotaging habits is real. So when you've never been trained on, when you've never had the support in your life or individuals to show you that you can do it, it's really hard to know that you can, right? So we talked about this with the victim mentality, and I think the victim mentality, it's not actually that bad. So for a long time, we sit there and we have this idea that it's impossible. We can't do this. Who are we to do this, right? The more that I don't want to say enable it, but we explore that part of our mind, it's okay. It's okay to think that you can't do this because you're not smart enough. Explore it some. So if you exclusively are thinking how, I was talking about this the other day, how Kayla was saying, we just need to go to the gym. We just need to eat better. We just need to. You're actually downgrading yourself. You're not actually uplifting yourself. You're making things worse, and you're not going to take action on it. So when we hear on one end, you don't have the drive. You need to push yourself harder. You just need to go do it. Allow yourself to recognize, on the other hand, it's okay that you haven't. No one in your history has. I understand why you haven't. It's really hard. You don't know where to get started. This is really complicated. You are not a complete fuck up. You're just doing what everybody in your family's line has done. And that's okay. It's okay to recognize it. I'm not judging you because of that. What I'm here to be is a supporter. I'm not here to force you to go in either direction. It is completely up to you. But man, I'm here to support you, right? If you want resources on how to have your success and move forward, completely there for you. If you just need to have some ideas on how to maybe work that way in the right direction, give yourself a North Star, I can do that. That's what this entire podcast is for, realistically. It's a North Star on two things. How to get better at skill acquisition, learning new skills, developing those skills, the mastery mindset and the craftsman mindset when it comes to learning skills. And number two, self-mastery. Understanding these exact conversations and how to move yourself in a slightly better direction. How to understand that there are biases that will hit you. How to understand that this is going to happen over times. And I think it's about giving yourself a little bit of patience. So what I just said, you might have one side, the one shoulder. Dude, why don't you just fucking go get it? Why are you being so lazy? Reach out and grab it. You need to just take some ambition. Be ambitious. Go get some stuff. Stop being so lazy. Then the other part of your mind, you need to recognize it's okay that you haven't so far. And what's really interesting is, instead of putting yourself in this high anxiety state where it's actually kind of volatile, it's going to be really hard to make decisions. So for example, people that are in massive financial straits, when they go to sell stuff, they actually do worse typically. So once someone starts a downward spiral in sales, it's really hard to rebound. But if you catch it early, you can start working on them really closely, right? So a great example I said a long time ago, when you run paid media and advertising, you don't want to wait. So if you only run YouTube ads, for example, exclusively YouTube ads, you are at a major risk, right? Let's say you're crushing it on YouTube. You're beating all of your competition. You're making $10 for every dollar you spend, right? You're doing amazing. And you're not spending money on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Google search because you're doing so well. Why would you move it off? The reason that's a terrible idea, you have to explore other areas. Otherwise, West, you're so loud right now. You have to explore other areas, because if you put all your eggs in one basket and you never explore those other areas because you're killing it so much, the moment that goes down, you're fucked. This happens all the time. So you need to always be exploring that and be okay with it. I went on a weird tangent right there.
No, I understand what you're saying, because I grew up, like I said, we talked about this last episode. I never had the vocabulary for what this was. I just knew Now I do. Now it's like, I've lived in this state of like almost life on high wire with no net constantly. And because of that, it was like, well, I have to make very ambitious choices and kind of self-motivate because I didn't have this vocabulary. It's different for people now, and that's a good difference. I do realize every now and then I channel my father's old man mentality because that's what I know, but for the majority of people, I mean, if I could have went through that process a hell of a lot easier with support, obviously
Absolutely.
I would have taken that over the alternative.
And I think that's kind of the point of this, right? So
Yeah.
I live between heaven and hell in terms of feedback all the time. So I view heaven as the uplifting part, hell being the ruthless efficiency part.
Sometimes I like the fire.
Yeah, well, so in my head, I think the perfect balance of it. Mm-hmm. And so it's weird because that perfect balance gives me the ability to make insane risks with confidence.
Yeah.
It can also give me the ability to be really, like, I'm my number one supporter because of that.
Right.
I'm very forgiving of when things happen. So, for example, when I went to Dallas weeks ago when I started this fat loss process, I thought I did great, and I came back, weighed myself, and I was like, dude, fuck. Like, I gained 0.5 pounds. I gained a pound. Dude, I thought I lost 2 pounds before I came down here. Then I gained a pound back. I just wasted an entire week's progress. This sucked, man. Then I was like, it's over, whatever. We're moving on. Learn from mistakes, whatever. We're moving on. Then I had the meeting with my physique coach, and he was like, dude, you're having 2 of those burger patties a day. That has
Fucking
so
told
much
you.
fat. He was like, that's so bad. Well, if it was a 90-20, it wouldn't be, or 90-10, it would have been a really big deal. I didn't realize it was like 80-20 or 70-30.
Well, this is the cheese you were putting on them.
No, it wasn't that.
There's fat in cheese, bro.
That's not, but the fat isn't near as high as the fat in the protein. So,
Oh, okay.
or the fat from the burgers was the big one. The cheese actually isn't.
Clearly, I am a fucking beacon of fitness.
So it was all those burger patties were the ones. There's like
Yeah.
40. So, for example, I'm only supposed to be eating 62 grams of fat a day right now.
Uh-huh.
Each one of those patties had like 48 grams of fat.
So you were doubling your fat content, essentially.
like substantially.
Okay.
And so each gram of fat has 9 calories.
Yeah.
Each gram of protein and carbs has 4.
Wow.
So substantially going over. Those are the painful small moments. It's embarrassing, but you get to learn.
Yeah.
We need to get ready to wrap up here. What I want to say is this episode was really cool because I think that idea of holding yourself to really high expectations, I
Right.
feel like is so important. But understand we have to even it out. We have to even it out with also being our number one supporter on having those high standards and being extremely, what's the right word? Extremely, not forgiveful. That's not a word.
Forgiving?
Forgiving, yeah.
Yeah.
Be very forgiving and just patient with yourself.
Right.
But as long as you're taking the actions, improving the quality of your activities, right? The quality of those actions, and you have the right attitude, it's going to work out at the end of the day.
One of the things that my therapist and I have been delicately working on is I told her that, I almost don't know if I want to remove that anxiety from myself completely.
You don't.
Because it's what makes me like hungry, for lack of a better term. Like the other day when I'm reading all this stuff, it's like, okay, so we're going through a rough patch with our advertising we're gonna come out on the end. I know we will better, but for now things are gonna be a little bit bumpy. I just got in that mode of like, well, fuck, okay, this is good. Okay, no. We need to fix this now. Like all these different, I hate to say it, but it's like catastrophe sort of thinking.
Yep.
And there's a part of me that tells her sometimes that, I don't know if I want to let go of that completely because that's like the mode that I've operated on for decades. But at the same time, it's not healthy. And we live in a world where so many people, thankfully don't have to be in that mentality 24/7. And I hate to say this, but I probably would have gotten where I am a lot quicker had I not constantly operated under that mindset.
I think it's about how to appropriately channel it.
That's
and
right.
control that monster.
Well, Mr. Jordan Peterson over here.
Yeah, well, you have to control it in a sense, because it's like I live off of that anxiety. Mm-hmm. Like I that is my baseline, and like actually, it's the driving force for how I make all my changes.
Yeah.
But you have to be very careful in how you manage it. Like I use the monster term because, dude, it's a monster.
It is. It's a bitch.
It can either eat you alive, or if channeled appropriately, that monster will take you so far, right? Like, so for example, in jiu-jitsu, I have to try so hard, right? When I roll with guys, kind of like who I was talking about the other day, I forgot his name, dude that's a physical specimen, Josh. I have to try so hard. Like when I go with him, a part of me wants to get wildly aggressive and match it, like strength for strength.
Right.
But it's when you do that, like when you move away from acting as water in a sense, and just trying to just channel it, you put yourself in a position to where no, I'm no longer playing my game. And if we're playing a game of strengths, he's going to outbeat me. I may be stronger, but he will outlast me. Right? My skills and the technique. Okay. And then I need to make sure that, I need to be able to outlast. I need to be tough, but I need to wait for the right moment. I cannot just push head on head. And it's that anxiety is it's the match and it's the fire. We just need to make sure that we appropriately know how to use that.
It's almost like we're talking about taming that energy and selectively listening to the devil on your shoulder, because sometimes he ain't wrong, but you just don't want to let him in all the time.
You 100% you allow that devil to be there.
Yeah.
You feed into it. You feed into the aspect of it telling you you're not good enough.
Right.
You're not who you think you are. You think you're smart enough, like you think you're good enough to learn how to do this. You need those. You cannot ever allow this. I'm a little bit more abnormally fed into this because I'm scared of becoming the guy that hits his 40s and is settled. He's happy. He's content. I'm terrified of that. Like, right. I can't express it enough. I'm so terrified. That's why I'm constantly, when I say leveling up, like the new house I'm getting, right? I have to invest a lot of fucking money in the furniture. Like what most people don't see is, so we were at a dinner the other day. And someone asked me, they're like, dude, Nathan, who's the most cash-rich person at the table? And they're like, must be Nathan. And I looked at him. I wanted to be like, dude, you guys don't even fucking know. I was like, I am not. I am not the most cash-rich person at this table. I have a habit. My habit is this. I don't like being comfortable. Like, and I mean this very seriously. Once I get comfortable, I upgrade. And when you upgrade, just like in a video game, when you upgrade, you lose all your resources.
You do.
Yeah, I lose everything.
Yeah.
Like, so like I'm upgrading
That's a good
again.
Analogy.
It's very scary. Like every time I do this, even my CFO is like, Nathan, this is a fucking risk. He's like, are you sure? He's like, I'm telling you, I don't want you to do this. Please don't. And I'm saying I'm doing it. And he's like, God damn it, Nathan. I don't like the idea that you're doing that. Because it stresses things. And the way that I view it is I'm going to stress it. I'm going to try to break it. And if it doesn't break, it's going to get substantially stronger. And it's the way I'm built. So like, it's interesting from the outside. People might see like, oh, it's only top right. It's going straight top right. It's not remotely close to the truth, right? I am so heavily investing back into those aspects. Like he literally told me, he's like, Nathan, so I'm about to spend tens of thousands of dollars on furniture. He's like, Nathan, can you not just spend that on something that will generate money for you? He's like, you have one asset. You have Devslopes. He's like, you don't have anything else realistically. He's like, why are you not doing that? And I sat there. I was like, because this is an investment back into myself. It's scary. It's for everybody coming here. It's about having house. It's about making me feel like I am reaching the new level. And then I'm going to challenge myself again. Right? I'm 27. I'm going all in on risks. This is how I operate, right? I'm going to have a lot of employees in this area. I'm bringing a lot of people over. We're going to be upgrading the podcast setup. I'm upgrading my entire environment. This is how I operate. Every time I've done this, the growth and returns on investment, 12, 16 months down the line, unbelievable. And it's scary. But there's like that little devil on the shoulder is the thing that I fight on a 24/7 basis. That's one of the reasons why I take so many showers. That's why I journal so much. One of the reasons I actually journal is I want to have something I can hand down to my kids so that they can know what I was going through. Because my kids are never my grandkids. My goal is to create generational wealth. But the problem is generational wealth is typically squandered within two generations to three. Multi-billion-dollar assets, right, estates, are typically gone within 2 to 3 generations max. But there's been a handful of generations that hasn't, right? The Vanderbilts, and there's one other family to where the money is still there. Why? Right? It's not because they had great financial advisors. Right? The kids can usually financial advisors take it, or the kids take it and squander it. So my thought process is this, and this is the entire purpose of the podcast. If I can get these things on paper and show them what my life was like, what was required to do this, not only will it help them down the road when they say, what was dad thinking about? What was grandpa thinking about? What was great grandpa thinking about whenever this was happening? They'll be able to go see everything, all the conversations I had, the things I was struggling with at the time. Everything will be on paper, and they'll be able to think about it. Like it's going to be essentially a fucking manifesto for them on what I was going through. And in addition, it's a great resource, just this for the students in terms of, what works for them. Like what works for me is constantly trying to level up. It's wildly stressful. Like I think I do a decent job, except for yesterday, just keeping that bottled and not expressing it to the outside world at all. Mm-hmm. But everybody has their unique paths. But if I could say anything as we finish up here, the last thing anybody should be doing is trying to bottle up that you want a little bit of that. You need to have a spark or a little flame at all times of that you're not good enough, or this is in code red. You have to have a little bit of that 24/7. If you have that baby rolling, you need to have that massive coaching side of understanding the things that you've done that are great, right? Once you move more towards that, it's really interesting. Compound interest starts taking place. We'll wrap it up for the day. Any final thoughts?
Great therapy session. Always love when you play devil's advocate. Man,
guys, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And do not forget, we have the core training videos. We might be recording something today. I don't know if we will. Don't forget to check those out. Don't forget to subscribe, like the YouTube. And I think we're going to be publishing all the full episodes on my Nathan Sevedge. So the core trainings will likely be on Devslopes. Check those out. Talk to you guys later.